$1. That was my impression of being on The Price is Right. I always wondered, like, why do people look back behind them during that part? Because I don't know, if it was me in the audience, I'd be really bitter that I wasn't up there. And also, like, you know, those people like in that row, they got ego. Like afterwards, they're probably like, hey, so, talking to like their family or whoever they, came to the taping with. They're like, look, so I've got this like lunch and it's, contestants only. So I'll meet you back at the hotel. Be all good. And then they get there and there's like a whole other section of people who actually made it like up onto the stage. And it's a whole weird thing. But I assume. So I started out with an impression because last time I was up here, I talked about impressions. And the thing about impressions, right, we want to make good impressions because we want to belong like somewhere. Impressions kind of lead us into belonging. And so I'm going to talk tonight a little bit about belonging and the idea of it at least. And that's the thing about this sort of, the price. It's all individual, right? It's very individual. I really like a better example of belonging, and one of my favorite shows is The Family Feud, right? And there is no more encouraging show or experience than The Family Feud, and I want this kind of unconditional support in my life. Like the shit people say, and then what happens? They give things you find in a bathroom. A full-size replica of Rodin's The Thinker made out of pate. And exactly. Good answer. Yeah, good answer. Like at some point, I want the host to just be like, you know what? Put the X up. I am not wasting our time with this. I am not turning to that board. No, but what do? Let's find out. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there's a whole like Rodin movement sweeping the nation of 100 people surveyed. I don't know, but like that kind of unconditional support is something I think we all need in our lives. And the thing is, like, I don't blame people, those contestants for saying something ridiculous under pressure. I mean, I think we've all been there. I mean, I think we probably all went through high school or junior high at one point, said something we might regret. I mean, I grew up in a very sheltered kind of existence, not just because I'm a straight white male, but it helped. My family, my parents went the extra mile when it came to conservative approaches to sex education. Like, I didn't get the abstinence talk, I got the no talk. We're gonna pretend this doesn't exist and see what happens. And what happened was I got really confused, particularly because I was a theater kid, right? So if you're super sheltered and you want to be really confused as a teenager, definitely spend all of your time with people who talk about nothing but sex, or butt sex, or whatever. But so there were phrases and common phrases that really threw me at that age, like, I bet she could suck the chrome off a trailer hitch. Like, my God, that seems like too much. That sounds dangerous. Like, that is a process that involves metal being removed from other metal. I do not want that process in this area at all. I don't, similarly, I bet they could suck a golf ball through a garden hose. Again, that seems excessive. That's just I'm are my testicles and my urethra, what is happening, and why are people saying it's a good thing? At that time, all I wanted was how about someone who can suck semen out of a penis? Would that, Like that's the level. Like that's what I was shooting. Like I mean, still am now. To be honest, but so in that kind of state of confusion, one day our lunchtime topic of conversation was frequency of masturbation, and I was put on the spot because and for whatever I for some reason. And I will never know. I can't possibly tell you what the hell I was thinking. But I said, oh, well, I don't masturbate. Well, I did once, but I threw up. True story, yeah. Which, I have no, but where I was stuck was if I said, well, I don't masturbate. They know I was lying because I was a 14-year-old with a penis. And if I said, oh, well, I masturbate, as often as I did at the time, they'd be like, you can't get laid, which was absolutely true, but also very, I was like, well, I won't. It'll be obvious I don't belong in this group. And so I came up with this what seemed to be a reasonable compromise between not getting laid and also not masturbating, and it was ridiculous, right? But it's like of course I masturbated because I couldn't get laid, and that's fine. And now at this point in my life I masturbate because at my age I've gotten really good at hand jobs. So. So you grow, you kind of outgrow these things, but I don't mind talking about this now because I've come to accept I've gotten a lot more comfortable with myself, obviously, and with who I am, and there's, it's been kind of hard-won wisdom that experience has taught me is that the belonging I wanted in that moment was something that I had to start with me first. Like I had to belong in my own skin before I could belong with other people. And I was when you don't have that, or when I didn't have that, I acted a lot and I see this and it confuses me now. But I mean, I do have some experience with it, but it always kind of bothers and drives me a little nuts when people really passionately love something and absolutely do not want anyone else to like it. I love this team and it is my team, you can't have it. Or this band or this kind of entertainment or whatever. Bands, that's the one that kills me. Absolutely, I want to make it absolutely impossible for enough people here to like this band to make them want to come into my town and play so that I can see them. Because if my life isn't full of extra misery, I don't know what to do. That seems to be the mindset, and it really, it's, and I get it because there's a certain amount of well, I liked this thing and it used to be unpopular, and so I got ridiculed for it, and now if everyone likes it, other people can like it, and they're not going to have to go through what I did. And I do get that, and there's kind of this balancing point. I was made fun of a lot for liking the things I liked when I was younger, and I reached a point where I was like, okay, so I get called you nerd, you fucking neck beard or whatever, and it's like, okay, that hurts, it's not okay, but also I could consider shaving my neck. That is also a reasonable alternative. We can meet halfway here. And there's kind of this, on the opposite side of this, things we love spectrum, there are people who will not stop talking about the things that they like. Those are people who are in cults, right? And, people who, regardless of all regardless of all evidence to the contrary of their beliefs, regardless of whatever conventional or proven wisdom there may be, they absolutely will not accept that what it is that they believe or that they value is actually either debatable or meaningless or whatever. So, and I think, at this time, I think we kind of all know, what sort of groups I'm talking about here, right? So, people who like IPAs, right? So, I mean, come on. I'm not one to place too much judgment, but IPAs to me are like prison food. Like, there are circumstances under which I believe I could come to like them, but I never, ever want to be in those circumstances. But the passion of it is something that I do appreciate. And the thing is, everyone that I've seen, whatever that, that passion that's the root of that kind of, process, that it is, the sense of, the draw of those kinds of cults is that sense of belonging. It is the acceptance of being in that space. And I think, the closest thing I've had to feeling that sort of comfort in a long time is strip clubs. I absolutely love the environment of a strip club because no one can judge me there. Because they're all there. Like, oh my God, you're here. And, like, so I find it incredibly relaxing in that way. The only thing is that, there are people who obviously are getting new to that environment, getting new to the environment, getting new to the experience, and you can tell who that is because they say things that are completely unnecessary, like, show us your tits! Uh-huh. That is precisely the transaction that has drawn us all together in this moment in time. Like, their end of the bargain is to show you their tits. And your end of the bargain is to be like Barry Sanders, scoring a touchdown, pretend like you've been there before, and you expect to be there again. So, that's the advice and what I'm going to leave you with tonight. Thank you all very much for coming out, for supporting Porchlight and supporting everyone here. Have a wonderful night, everybody.